wakho awuthathe mntakanjengele nabantwana bakho mawuwe umbuso wenzi mawuwe umbuso wamaphulo mawuwe tata Holomisa tata manungibele kwathini kamkele yaswala ngakho yasokwamkuba wena bantu kusicima kaqalothi insizwa yasophethe kolahla into endlebe sitamtam ngathi lityumata into entenathi impuno ngathi lithathe emansini kwathini awutyatyatule thuba lethuna erham eqeqeleli
Phansi ngamasela phansi. Sawucela ke ngokuba sithule. Into esoyenza apha kumamela imessage. Abantu abahambisa amanzi bahambise ngeorder bangadisrupt abanye abantu. The Deputy President of the United Democratic Movement, UDM National Deputy Chairperson, the UDM National Office Bearers, members of the NEC, the party's provincial leadership, Nelson Mandela, Executive Mayor, and the people of this metro who are our hosts, members and supporters of the UDM, fellow South Africans. Good day to you all, including those who are watching from home. Welcome to the unveiling of the United Democratic Movement's 2019 manifesto. As the UDM enters its third decade as a party, our message is clear. We are ready to lead and we are ready to govern. Our manifesto is available for all to read, but I want to highlight a number of salient points. This election is about trust. We have a president who pleads with you to trust him, and this despite his party. Why? Because he knows that his party, the ANC, is not worthy of your trust. We all know that damage it has done, be it to our economy, our safety, our education and health system, and so the list goes on. How can it be trusted when it stood meekly? How can it be trusted when it stood meekly by as Jacob Zuma and his cronies looted the state and stole your hard-earned taxes and deprived you of economic opportunities? We now know the cost of state capture. Billions of rands have been stolen and many state institutions and agencies have been weakened. As a direct result of state capture, for example, PRASA has been disabled. What that means is that the railway system is disrupted, notwithstanding the fact that billions of rands of taxpayers' hard-earned cash are used to rescue the ailing railway system. In practical terms, it is even harder for those who are lucky enough to have jobs to get to work on time. To cite another example, Eskom also is a victim of state capture. As we speak, we are unsure whether this rally will complete its business. There is the likelihood of being visited by an uninvited guest who brought darkness, and that is load shedding, Kamalake. Small businesses, which are the backbones of our economy, are most affected and cannot run their enterprises because of this uncertainty. This situation is diametrically opposed to what the ruling party has been telling South Africans. We were told that the change of leadership will bring efficiency. We were told that load shedding is a thing of the past and that the future is bright. Like PRASA, Eskom is no longer able to perform the public service it should. Eskom comes up with a new excuse from the already used one, such as the shortage of diesel and coal. Now we are told that the Hitachi and Chancellor House project, that is at Medupi and Kusile power stations, which they built, are the reasons for this load shedding. As we all know, Chancellor House is the ANC's front company, and it is therefore prudent that the ruling party must take full responsibility of plunging South Africa into darkness. We all suffer as a result. This kind of institutionalized corruption must be exposed for what it is, without fear nor favor. So I ask you, how can South Africans trust the ANC? The reasons we now know more details about state capture thus far is because of the revelations at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. Banbakuthi sithi kuni siyanamkela apha eBhayi. Samkele leadership ye-UDM kazwelonke kumaphondo. Sibulele nakumeya uKtaka Bobani owabhukuqa umbuso apha ndingazi kuthinywe ngibanini. Olulonyulo lalonyaka iza kuba ngabathembana abantu esizawubavotela. Kwezi political parties mhlawumbi ezinhlanu ezinkulu apha eMzantsi Afrika. Kuphi umbutho esinowu-investa kuwo to make sure into yokokuba aba bebesitya imali ezikaRhulumente kakubi bathathelwa ingqalelo kangangoba abanye babo bafamba ngokuba sezikhotha. Ngoko ke sithi ke siyi-UDM olonyulo lizawuthi ligxininise kwimeko yokokuba uMzantsi Afrika ukhululeka njani koludaka ukulo. Namhlanje asikwazi kuhamba sihamba emnyameni. Nale ntetha yam ndiyibekayo apha ndazi noba ndayigqiba na ngenxa yokuba umbane ungahamba. Siyaxelelwa ke into yokokuba i-Chancellor House ANC company eyathatha ii-billions phaya kwa-Eskom kulaa project yakwaMedupi, nayo ngoku iyabaleka kanti ibifama xa kuthiwa kuthathwa izigqibo zoba nispanisha nisihambise emnyameni kuthiwe i-ANC mayibuyise loo mali. Sithi ANC buyisani imali yakwa-Eskom lena ithathayo nawe iyitya nosela. The Zondo Commission exists because the public protector recommended that it be appointed and the courts agreed. The rule of law prevailed despite the onslaught of Zuma and his party. We went to the Constitutional Court with 3 other opposition parties and succeeded in having the public protector's state capture report published. We can be proud of the role we played in protecting the rule of law in South Africa. The UDM's track record speaks for itself. To mention but a few, no one will question that the UDM has consistently betted on the wicket of anti-corruption and the promotion of the ethics of good governance. We have always called a spade, to the annoyance of many. We fought the immoral floor-crossing legislation and were vindicated when it was eventually removed from the country's statute books. The UDM took the matter of irregular lease agreement of the Independent Electoral Commission's offices to the Public Protector, after which Advocate Pensi Tlakula was forced to resign. Post-2016 local government elections, the UDM was the catalyst in establishing coalition governments in several metropolitan municipalities. We coordinated the biggest march to the union buildings, which called for the former president to vacate his office. The UDM was at the lead when some opposition parties took the matter of the secret ballot on the no confidence motion in the former president to the Constitutional Court. We succeeded in forcing the Speaker of the National Assembly to pronounce on how the balloting would take place. Since 1999, the UDM has steadily campaigned to have party funding legislation put in place, which has recently been signed into law. Most recently, the UDM exposed alleged corruption at the Public Investment Corporation, PIC, amounting to billions of rands. We called for the Chief Executive Officer to pack his bags and leave, which has happened. We have further asked the President to institute a commission of inquiry, which he has done. Various communities will attest to the fact that the UDM has intervened on their behalf to have government at municipal, provincial, and national levels to attend to their service delivery complaints. This has been our mission since the Mandela, the Mbeki, the Ngqamalala, Zuma, and now the Ramaphosa administrations. We have further written numerous letters to government to intervene in the malfunctioning SITAs on behalf of the employees and needy pupils who are affected by the SITA's inefficiency and corruption. This is part of our proud track record of more than 20 years that we are a party stands up for what is right and is not afraid to speak to the truth to power. We have defended the Constitution and we will continue to do so. President Ramaphosa may be a decent man, but he is just one man. It is said that people must vote for the ANC in order to allow President Ramaphosa to continue in office, but there is no guarantee that the ANC will allow him to do so. There is nothing to stop the ANC from deciding to remove him, just as they did as they recalled Thabo Mbeki and replaced him with a person facing over 800 criminal charges. What an irony. Today we hear noises from the ANC that the past 9 years have been disastrous under President Zuma administration. Yet the current crew was the very one who said that he did nothing wrong. They even invented a slogan that read, "We have a good story to tell." I ask the question again, can we trust them? Given that the same organization was at pains to defend Zuma and was hell-bent on discrediting the public protector and the judiciary. Had it not been for the insistence of the opposition parties and some civil society organizations, Cyril Ramaphosa would not have occupied an office at the union buildings. We should not be lulled into thinking that the leopard has changed its spots. To prove that, it is the same organization who has asked Zuma to campaign for them and thus continue to undermine the rule of law. The voters of this country will not have their intelligence insulted and take a risk to trust them again. And bakuthi sinehistory kunjani siyazidla ngayo, uyathanda uthandi. Sithi abaqala lento ukuthi urhulumente utya imali yabahlali. namhlanje batyholana no agrees yaba agrees apha uyabashukumisa udlala number 6 abaleka bonke bawuvale emapalini abazi uba mabathini na. Therefore sinegugu ke ngezinto esithe sazenza. Ndiyakhumbula uba kwakuyi-UDM eyathi i-flow crossing legislation ipromota i-politics zokunyotywa ngemali. Ndiyakhumbula ukuba ikwayi-UDM eyathi yaya kwi-court yawuthi abantu mababe nelungelo lovota secretly. Ndiyakhumbula ikwayile UDM eyathi hey apha kwa-IEC izinto azilunganga wathi waqhawula uchairperson wakhona. Ndiyakhumbula i-UDM kutshanje yiyo evumbulule imali yabasebenzi bakarhulumente, amajoni, amapolisa, amanesi, itishala, omabhalane, ukuthi imali yabo ye-pensions yaphela kwa-PIC. As a result, utata uSiril Ramaphosa ukwazile ukuthi athi makube khona inquiry. That is why the president did not even mention his party once during the State of the Nation. Imamele kakuhle ithetha yakhe. Kuba kaloku bazama ukufamekisa abantu bayeligama lithi ANC lingcolile. Ngoku bapromote eli gama Ramaphosa kuphela naye kangalimenshine nolimenshina uyakhumbula igama lepati yakhe phaa kwi-State of the Nation. Usuke wenza isearch ukhangela uba yintoni imibangela bangayenzi loo. Asizuqhathwa ke apha kuthiwe nguye asivoteli president sivoteli imibutho. ANC limazile eli lizwe. Tyiwe imali apha. And ababambi kwamntu akhona umntu sagqibela ngoku kwakuthiwa kubantu uJake Silebe. Kodwa ka ukhomparisha imali ezityiweyo it's a drop in the ocean. But our electoral systems mean that you cannot have Ramaphosa without the ANC, which makes the UDM suggestion that the president of the country should be directly elected by voters as in other democracies. And so my message is this: South Africa is not the ANC. And these days, nor can it be said that the ANC is South Africa. It has lost touch with ordinary South Africans. It has lost its moral compass. It has betrayed its history. It has betrayed South Africa. The misuse of resources permeates both the public and private sectors. Where government is concerned, this mismanagement pervades all three tiers of government. When the UDM comes to power, one of the first things we shall invest in is professionalizing the civil service in order to deliver quality services. The appointment of DGs, Directors General, will be the sole responsibility of the Department of Public Service in consultation with the Presidency to avoid the current situation where ministers appoint their friends and thus perpetuate corruption. Another area in which we will invest is the training of the personnel of the bodies responsible for our security and safety in this country. That is the police, the intelligence, and the military. Their state of readiness must always be guaranteed so that they may execute their mandate. The people of this country deserve better, and they yearn for a better alternative. They deserve a party that will put them first. Allow me to talk about the thorny issues. First one being the economic needs of South Africa. South Africa has fast diminishing hopes of being able to respond to the triple threat of acute poverty, ever-rising unemployment, and deepening inequality. The UDM's manifesto puts the economic needs of the people at the center of its plan for government. South Africa needs an inspiring and shared economic vision of where we are going in the next 10 to 20 years. Looking back, the CODESA negotiations only focused on political freedom, and consequently, economic policy formulation has been left to the individual ministers to the detriment of the development of a comprehensive and coherent economic plan. This approach to policy formulation is not sustainable because as soon as changes occur in government, a new administration tends to disown previously adopted policies. Yet the same political party has sponsored those ever-changing policies. To compound matters, the tripartite alliance differences on the economy further confuses policies, with National Development Plan being the white elephant in the room. Although we do not out of hand discard the current administration economic summits, the UDM strongly believes that a similar exercise as the CODESA talks needs to take place, but this time in the form of economic endeavor. This forum should gather to address the backlogs and imbalances of the past and examine international precedents such as the European Recovery Program of 1948, also known as the Marshall Plan. Closer to home, Afrikaner government was deliberate in using state resources to successfully address Afrikaner poverty. Piecemeal conferences and summits will not do the job. It needs a concerted effort with all stakeholders gathered under one roof to hammer out South Africa's macroeconomic policy. Even the governing tripartite alliance have differed fundamentally from each other. These differences have raised tension at network level. This is one institution that needs to be completely overhauled, given that there are new strong unions in this country such as SAFTU. South Africa's economic growth could be realized if we all work together and communicate one message to the would-be investors, both local and abroad. Let me now turn to the healthcare system. The quality of healthcare infrastructure and maintenance are often below standard. Hygiene at many clinics is at unacceptable levels and must be addressed immediately. It remains a sad fact that many South Africans must travel huge distances to the nearest clinic or hospital. Therefore, health infrastructure and services need to be provided closer to the poor. A UDM government will commit itself to health care that is linked to other social cluster portfolios, recognizing the role of social welfare, water and sanitation, basic life skills and awareness to improve the basic health of the nation. Allow me now to turn to education. One of the UDM's main priorities is to invest resources in schools where it is sorely needed. We can never advance as a nation if we do not educate our young. It is the most serious structural constraint that the economy faces today. Hence, a UDM government will prioritize the building, fixing, and upgrading of school infrastructure. A UDM government will also make additional funding available to ensure that every school has the required learning materials and resources, and ensure that it is delivered on time. There are major discrepancies at state schools when one talks resources spending and infrastructure. Some have the necessary tools to fulfill their obligations to our children, and others lack even bare necessities. President Ramaphosa announced that advanced technology would be used to enhance teaching, and we welcome this. But one cannot imagine a situation where a child works with a tablet at a math school who has no electricity to even charge the battery of that tablet. We will establish a permanent commission on education whose primary responsibilities will be to establish and build upon basic education policy pillars, as well as ensuring that there is stability in the curriculum to give our learners the best opportunity to succeed in their studies. The UDM will reopen teaching training colleges and impose national standards of teachers and ensure that they have the necessary resources to provide the highest level of professionalism possible. School inspectors will be brought back to deal with erratic attendance by pupils, teacher laziness, and to ensure that the administration tasks are attended to. Allow me now to turn to safety and security. The safety and security of our country and her people leave much to be desired. The criminal justice system has collapsed. When we hear about the information revealed in, for instance, the Zondo Commission, one wonders if our security bodies are fast asleep as this happened under their watch. Under a UDM government, it will take steps to professionalize the criminal justice system. We will also lobby SADC countries to seriously consider establishing an apparatus to respond to cross-border crime and terrorism, as well as the gathering of intelligence. Let's now turn to the public transport. There is an over-reliance coupled with lack of maintenance of our road infrastructure, which has led to its rapid decay. A UDM government will return the units which used to maintain our roads and not solely to rely on current tender system that poorly pays EPW employees. A UDM government will further explore the possibility of having an intercity high-speed rail put in place, which could present the nation with the following advantages. One, the reduction of accidents and fatalities on our roads. Greater access to specialized services, e.g. courts, legislature, hospitals, healthcare specialists, universities, etc., etc. Roads that are taxed less by heavy vehicles that damage road surfaces, which in turn cost a lot of money to maintain. The reduced dependence on road transport will have the spin-off of speeding up our economy. Such a profound transformation of our public transport system would be possible via the refurbishment and adaptation of existing railway lines and building additional capacity where it is needed. UDM would like to propose to address you on specific proposals. Our manifesto is comprehensive and covers other areas that are important for a dignified and prosperous life. But I want to focus on a few areas where we offer distinctive approaches. Job creation. The unemployment crisis in South Africa has many causes that underscore the need for a comprehensive strategy. As one solution, a UDM government will launch a massive initiative focusing on job creation through infrastructure maintenance and development. There is a big chunk of unskilled labor which could be absorbed in working in such programs. They could, for instance, work on the upkeep of government buildings, construction and maintenance of dams and cleaning silted rivers. They could also be tasked to play a meaningful role in restoring ecosystems and biodiversity by fencing off land for agrarian and grazing purposes. Others could be skilled to take care of waste management. The UDM also believes that for the development of South African and African economies, it makes sense to gradually cease the mass export of raw materials so that jobs are created locally through homegrown processing and manufacturing. There must be a paradigm shift, though, in the way that we think of job creation and focus on the empowerment of our youth to be wealth creators, future employers, manufacturers, and business owners. In order to achieve this, the UDM will do the following. But phambi koba ke ndingene kulo mcimbi kuthiwa kho misebenzi. Ingxaki kukho abantu abangazange bawubona kwa umnyango wesikolo
kukho abantu abangakwazanga upasa o-10 abo bantu abo kunzima mpela kuba bazawuqesheka kanjani. I-UDM ke ngoku ithi urhulumente wangaphambili wafaka i-Marshall Plan ezama ukulungiselela amabhulu ayehluphekile. Urhulumente base-Europe beze neyabo i-Marshall Plan bancedise emva kwemfazwe ze-Second World War. Wafaka izimali ngoku bangosomashishini. Apha i-25 years yonke iphelile. Si-expectwa into basiyi-53 million black South Africans. Masityhuwishe siyocela umsebenzi kwinkampani abamhlophe abayi-3 million ipopulation yabo. Ngeke siqhube thina kwa-UDM loo nto sithi ngoku abo bangayanga esikolweni urhulumente makakabuyisele uhlaza kweli lizwe, abiyele amasimi, abiyele indawo yokuhlala kuzo abantu. Okokugqibela abanye balime baphangele, imilambo yethu igcwele isanti kanti bekunokuqeshwa abantu kuvulwe ezaa ndawo kwakuthiwa ziziziba kudala. Ukanti ezilokishini, ezidolophini nalapha eBhayi zonke nokusuke kweyiphi idolophu ziyafana, kugcwele inkukuma. Babe sinothatha le waste management siyisebenzise siyenze kakuhle, si-create more jobs. Mhlawumbi kuthiwe kuleni ward sifuna abantu babeyi-10 bafomishe ikhampani yabo, bazawunikeza ibhizinesi yokuklina le ndawo every day. Then i-trucks zikamasipala ziye kuphelela only ezidolophini, zizokwazi ungena nalapha emikhukhwini, zingene nalapha kwi-townships. Ngahamba ubheke eSoweto uzawufika idolophi kuclean, Sandton kuclean, even apha eBhayi kuclean kwi-Main Street, but phuma ungene ezilokishini. Therefore kuyafuneka ke siyilumkele le nto, but ndifuna ukwenza ilima namhlanje. Ndithi kumeya nekomiti yakhe ye-coalition apha eBhayi, make senzeni umzekelo apha eBhayi, sicele ezi packaging companies nezi company chain stores o-Shoprite and others. Thank you, nandibulela kuba ndiyana-advertise ndibiza igama leni. Ke kudityanwe apha eBhayi nee-construction companies, ke kuzanywe ugutyulwa ukungcola okulapha ezilokishini nasemikhukhwini. Loo nto leyo uba ngabani ngayo singake sicele sithi sitargeta into yoba come 27 ka-April kulo nyaka make senzeni umzekelo ukuthi singayigutyula njani. But kufuneka we need to inculcate a culture of ownership. It's not going to be a one-way traffic. Ayingomasipala odampileyo ezikoneni, ikwasithi abadampileyo, therefore kuzawuquka wonke umntu le exercise. Sikline lo mini, siyiqokelele phaa, zifike ii-trucks, bafike nogandaganda bayisuke bayilayishe yofakwa khona. Then mntakabobani, nina ngonizawungena okokuqala nilawula ibhajethi yenu. Kulapho ke ngonifama nithenge izinto, nithenge imatshini zothi nee-trucks, nithi make sure bezo trucks ezo ziyangena ezilokishini zikline ukungcola. Ezi flowers zidecoratileyo apha, we have to ask the Trade and Industry Department ukuthi Department of Environment, ezi plastic bags zigcwele apha eSouth Africa ingaba ziyilayini nane policy yase-South Africa, because le nto ye-importation yezinto ezisuka ngaphandle uimportwe ne-plastic bag le nezikhonkwane, uxa ubethela nezikhonkwane bongasigwaba nangesandla. Sekwenzeke ntoni maqabane? Yintoni leni isibulala ilizwe lethu kangaka? Phansi kamasela phansi! In order to achieve this, the UDM will do the following: establish a distinct national fund to assist frustrated entrepreneurs in getting the basic tools to start their business. I'm referring to small business and the youth. Invest in sector-based planning and implementation, including the creation of sector-specific banks to provide financial assistance to historically disadvantaged groups and individuals. Such sector banks could assist the youth to start their own businesses. For instance, in the textile, IT, tourism, hospitality, agricultural industries. Ndithi nindiveka kuhle. Sinabantwana apha abaneskill ngoku abafundileyo abanedegree abahleli ngasebuhlanti bahleli ezilokishini. Ubangaba ngoku besinoqala le national fund iqalwe si-state ne-private sector isijoyini. Sinako ngokuthi nina instead kuye kwa-Standard Bank uyofuna i-loan. Kuthiwa ikhona i-fund ecreatweyo by the state. Apho uzawubuyisa uba kukho i-need, ubuyise i-interest but at a lower rate between 2 and 4%. Ndenza umzekelo. Ukwenzela uba si-investe kwaba bantwana bethu ibe ngabo abazawuba ngoosomashishini kusasa. Andidibani nale nto besityhuwishile siyocela umsebenzi ebantwini abangasihloniphiyo nabanganaxesha lethu nabasakhalazela into abasuswe elawulweni ngenkani. Billions of rands are wasted on sitters, whilst they could be transformed into such sector banks. Remove the bottlenecks on the registration of companies by introducing an online application system to expedite registration. Identify markets for small firms through promoting domestic and foreign connections to adequately address both supply and demand. Embark on massive training program of entrepreneurs to build and manage their companies. Identify loan and capital resources, as well as facilitate loans and investment in community businesses. Devote more resources to promote buying South African as a tool to stimulate local wealth generation and job creation. Land issue. We support land reform and land redistribution. It is vital for our agrarian and rural economies, but also vital for restoring the dignity of our people, recognizing the injustices of the past. But the issue is complex and must be understood as such. There are no easy answers, and we must work to find consensus on a solution to benefit the landless. So we need to build a strong, resilient consensus about how to tackle it. In the proposed amendment of the Constitution, government could be empowered so that it may expropriate land without compensation, but subject to the development of comprehensive legislation. Such legislation must answer the following questions. Who exactly will be affected and how? How does food security and economic stability impact implementation? That is, does it prevent expropriation in specific circumstances, and what those would be? How will government handle rapid urbanization and the ever-increasing need to make land available in cities, which denudes rural communities and local economies? How will traditional leaders and rural communities be affected? How will entities such as traditional trusts be impacted? What will be the effect on the land tenure system, particularly in rural areas? What would be the position on the sale of, in Maine, urban and land to foreigners? How will the issuing of title deeds be sped up so that entrepreneurs may use them as collateral to secure capital to startups? Sustainable development, let's talk about now the environment. Protecting the environment and our national resources are often placed on the back burner since the consequences of abuse are not immediately appreciable. People find an issue such as depletion of ozone layer and an absent concept that does not directly affect them. Many South Africans do not concern themselves with the environment because of the notion that it's someone else's problem, and therefore do not take responsibility for their own actions. Climate change got just one mega line in the President Ramaphosa State of the Nation address. That is a serious abrogation of responsibility. A UDM government will not make this mistake. It will take responsibility. It will join the dots between the climate change and environmental degradation to poverty and human development and economic policy. For development to be both just and sustainable, it must recognize the interconnectedness of the environment, social and economic dimension of the crisis we face today. High levels of poverty contribute to the damage of our environment. For example, we need to stay warm in the winter. In the winter is a primary goal for rural and township communities, while the negative impact of wood collection on the environment may not be understood. A UDM government will implement a Marshall Plan to save our natural heritage that shall identify, build and reward individuals, institutions and community-based organizations to rescue and conserve our environment. We will introduce green battalions to counter, amongst others, soil erosion, overgrazing, deforestation, and to also protect biodiversity, especially in rural South Africa. This country has failed dismally to manage waste. It is worse in the townships, informal settlement, towns and rural areas. South Africa is a tourism mecca in her own right, and something must be done to address waste management. Under a government, UDM government, conservation and socio-economic development shall be linked by allowing communities to have sustainable access to the life-supporting and income-earning potential of nature reserves and conservation areas. The UDM believes that through the implementation of biodiversity programs, thousands of jobs can be created, because we believe that it is possible to generate jobs and business opportunities while being environmentally responsible. We will implement tax incentives to encourage the private sector to invest in the development of technologies for conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity programs. We offer a realistic and well-visionary alternative approach to our sustainable development challenge. Hence, a UDM government will also roll out an information campaign to teach the uninformed of the impact of their actions on the environment and why it matters to their future prosperity as individuals and as communities. What is noticeable is in all the towns and cities is that you hardly see trucks collecting garbage. Residents just find empty space to dump their waste. A UDM government will embark on a countrywide cleanup campaign. We will provide the necessary tools to keep our country clean and in the process create jobs as well as opportunities for small business to flourish. We will consolidate the massive number of environmental laws and regulations into concise and effective law. UDM position on coalition government. I also want to touch on the issue of possible coalition governments after this year's elections. If it should deliver no outright winner, as forecast by political analysts, the question of coalitions arises. In this regard, the UDM is of the view that any coalition government should be regulated so that the principles of serving the people are not suppressed by wanton political intimidation and playing the numbers game that typifies the present local government dispensation. Hence, it is important that coalition partners iron out their relationship directly after elections and publish their compacts so that voters clearly understand how that coalition will work and to have a set of standards to measure any coalition government's performance. Now, ndifuna ke uya kule ndaba yokusebenzisana kohulumende we-coalition. Lala phezulu umsebenzi. Ngike ndeva pha eParliament Cyril abasebenzisabelana ngezikhundla phaya no leader be-DA no leader we-EFF uJuju athi hayi ba ube president ndawuculela mna ke ubaze njengoba bedla ngosifonela kuqala xa benengxaki sebayazi kule game okokuba uba ngaba bafuna i-UDM ibe iphathi ye-coalition nazi conditions zezi condition ndizibeke apha kule manifesto uba sawuthi make sure uba ziyo-implementwa but asingaba abantu bazawuthi hayi samkela nje ububa sibe yiminister sibe yiportfolio njengoba bezawukhompithela ubupresidenti nje thina ze basinike phaa kulaa office apho kuhlala khona phaa e-East Wing apho kuhlala khona UDD ninike zi-UDM ke leyo sideputizele lo uyawina ngezo nani zingaphelelanga but thina sibephi sithathe phaa sibe phaa si-occupye la position ye-deputy presidency ukhangela uba ngeke siwabambe nala masela enye yezinto esiyicelayo kwinkonzo siyacela abantu benkonzo nisiyekelele ngexesha bendisebenza neenkonzo ngexesha le-apartheid sasisebenza kakuhle sidilize urhulumente simtyhola ukuba utya imali zabantu kakuhle but ngoku ndiyafumanisa uba ezinye icawe ziyekile loo nto instead ngoku zimanipuleyithwa kufumanisa uba zicapturishwe ngurhulumente kanti ngoku bekufama ke nivele nibe yi-voice of reason ni-occupy ispace sopromota immorality yale Mzantsi Afrika i-moral compass yethu is pointing south and andiboni ukuthi iyawujikwa zi-political parties kuphela biphinde inyuke other than balube khona ilizwe lisuke ezicaweni sanuvumela ke ngoku uba nisetyenziswe zi-political parties nenze umsebenzi omdaka wezo-political parties benifamba ngoku aniyekanga ngelaa xesha benikenazijoyina sithi umsholozi makahambe ngoku nifamba nijoyine i-UDM niyincedise kwi-call yokuthi makuklinwe i-administration nezinye ii-parties but nithule simane sinibona nikwezi nivula ningochaplain nivula intlanganiso zala masela nixakuba le nto iyaphi kanye kanye nawo maqabane ke ekuphetheni siyanibulela ngothi niphumile neza apha siyaxolisa i-KZN iyawufika sesigqibile bebesadlule eQueenstown enantsikeni ngoko eKing Williamstown but I hope uba uyifumana imessage sibulela ke i-leaders ze-provinces ezingaba ziye zakwazi ukuza apha uba ngaba besinazo indlela ne-means mhlawumbi ke noko ngesonelisile songeza ibhasi ezininzi but ke niyayazi uba i-UDM noko ayithathi ntweni but namhlanje sibulela uba imessage yethu isiwe kubantu base-South Africa phumani ke ngoku nihambe niyosasaza le manifesto ye-UDM leyo ethi sibeka indaba yemisebenzi phambili kodwa sibiksi nje ukuthi imisebenzi siyacacisa uba abantu bafama baqeshwe njani siyabacacisela nabantu abangayanga esikolweni uba banelungelo loba mabaqeshwe siyayicacisa nento yoba abantwana bethu abafundileyo banaso iskill into enango bafuna i-startup capital therefore masiphumeni siye ngendlu yethu sonke siyokhampeyina sixelela ama-South Africa uba liphelile ixesha uba sikufake amaqanda ethu ebhaskithi nenye kufuneka siwabe kakuhle sidiniwe ngohlohle zabo phantsi kamasela phantsi
Amandla! Amandla! Viva UDM, viva! Viva Bantu bonke Holomisa, viva!